Hey there, YouTube land, and I just wanted to make a video tonight, basically kind of an honor of Christopher Lee, and I was going to do kind of a Christopher Lee collection, but that was take a lot more time than I got tonight. But I wanted to do something to kind of honor him, to honor like the movies that I grew up on. I was just speaking with my dad tonight. We just got off the phone, speaking with my dad, and talking about Hammer. And Hammer films were kind of like, there were the movies that my dad grew up on, the movies that kind of like made him the horror fan that he is today, and he helped mold me into becoming like the horror fan that I became. So I don't have a lot of Hammer films, unfortunately. I do have one like mega set of Hammer that's pretty much one of the pride and joy crowning jewels of my collection, which we're going to look into. But we're going to look at and talk about some of the Hammer films, talk about my Hammer collection, this small Hammer collection I got. Well, there's some stuff coming out. Warner Brothers has a set coming out with 4 movies on it. It's got The Mummy, Dracula's Risen from the Grave, Taste the Blood of Dracula, and what's the 5th one again? 4th one again? Oh, it's like 4 in the Hammer set. I really want that. The Blu-ray set. Hammer's got a Blu-ray set. Warner's got and it doesn't have any of the ones I got in my sets. So I'll be definitely picking that up. It's going to be supposed to be like the retail, suggested retail price is going to be 54, I think. But you know the way Amazon is, it's probably going to be, you're going to find it at like 30 or 40. And for 4 Hammer Blu-rays, it's a really good price. So let's get into like the ones I do have. And I only have 2 Blu-rays, so I'm going to do the Blu-rays first. Millennium put them out. And for a while, it didn't look like there's going to be a lot of Hammer going out. I know that there's a 4-pack, like a 4-pack Dracula one that I really wanted to pick up. But I never did manage to get it for some reason or another. But one of the first that I got was Frankenstein Created Woman. It's very different, like a kind of Frankenstein film. The Frankenstein films, I find, out of all the Hammer franchise films, like the Dracula and all that, Frankenstein one seemed to be just a little bit more literate, take a lot more chances, and nothing took more chances, I don't think, than Frankenstein Created Woman. It was a very, very different film. I mean, like the Ralph Bates one, the horror Frankenstein, that did a kind of more tongue-in-cheek, a very different, younger, Baron Frankenstein, Victor Frankenstein. But basically, this one here really did some different stuff. Susan Denberg was, she's an amazing-looking woman, of course. Acting-wise, she did a decent job in the role. Peter Cushing did amazing in this, and it was a very different film. If you haven't seen it, you really should. This one here, this edition, this Millennium edition, has some great features on as well. It has a documentary on the making of the film. We have like 2 World of Hammer episodes, and basically World of Hammer was this like series, kind of half-hour-long series, pretty much like talk about like different aspects of Hammer. And they talk about the Curse of Frankenstein. That episode is on here, and Hammer stars Peter Cushing. Talks about the different Hammer movies Peter Cushing did. Plus, there's a brand new documentary on all the Hammer female actresses called Hammer Glamour. So if you haven't checked that out, it's really worth checking out. And sign this one here, Frankenstein Created Woman. And I'll be honest, see this one right here, Dean. Before I picked you up the Lucio Fulci set, Frankenstein Created Woman was the one I was going to get you. I went back and forth on it. You're probably cursing me right now when you're hearing that, but it's true. Dracula Prince of Darkness was the very first Hammer film that I saw. It was the very first Hammer film that I saw anything of. Even before I saw the movie, I remember owning a book like on vampire films. And basically, the first was like vampires. It talked about Dracula Tepes, and then it talked about like his what he was to Turkey and all that stuff. And basically went on to talk about the films, like Universal films. Talk about, of course, the London at Midnight, just so many of the ones. But then I got to the Hammer stuff, and they had this picture here. This pretty much this one right there, and they had the other picture of him like going through the ice type one thing. And I was like amazed. I wanted to see that so bad, and I've read stuff on it. I remember reading Famous Monsters of Filmland that my dad had, and when I was visiting my dad once, and talked about it, he said, and Christopher Lee wouldn't speak any words because like any of the lines that was in the film, I said, I've got to see this movie. And the lines that he didn't use, we would actually speak later on, because a lot of those lines ended up with stuff like Satanic Rites, where if you've seen Satanic Rites, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Next up is one here, Dracula AD 1972. This one actually you can find in like sets and stuff, but I find it hard. It was a hard find to get the widescreen edition of this on its own, like basically an actual legit thing. Like Warner quickly put these on sets and like double featured them and did like the flipper discs and stuff like that. But this one here is on its own. It actually is not a flipper disc. Pretty cheesy looking Dracula, pretty cool. Uh, I actually love this one a lot. Christopher Neame is in this one. Uh, there's two movies that are done that are modern day kind of adaptations of Dracula. One is Dracula 1872, and the other is Satanic Rites of Dracula. Satanic Rites isn't a very good movie. It's like a Bond film that just happens to have Dracula in it, and Dracula's a Bond villain. Uh, yeah, but it is what it is, and it's still a fun movie to watch. Oh, it's just not as fun as the other Dracula films. It goes beneath. That's kind of like when you watch a Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. Is it a good movie? It's not that good a movie, but it's still, compared to many other like monster movies and horror movies that came in around the time, it's still one of the better ones. And to get this in its own, with its own case, this is just incredible. That was like a proud find for me. And this one's not open because we have two copies. We did have two copies at one point. I think my son has the other copy of this one. And it was like a double feature that I bought at the bargain with the the bargain shop. It was a place in Cornbrook, and they used to have a lot of really good like DVDs and DVD sets that were really cheap. It closed down, unfortunately, and this is her copy. Yeah, it is. Yours is an unopened one, and even has the bargain shop sticker on it still, which I've kept closed because of that reason actually. And it's like I think it's a 2-disc set. I'm gonna guess it's a 2-disc set. I haven't got to open it. I'm not gonna open it, but not yet anyway. And it's got the Curse of Frankenstein, which was the big one that started the whole Hammer revolution. Hammer started like in the 1930s with the Mystery of Marie Celeste with Bela Lugosi, but they really became to the Gothic horror thing actually in the when Curse of Frankenstein came out, which was in. I'm gonna pretend I know. Yes, it's come to me now. I totally know. 1957. I looked. I cheated. But again, a fantastic film. A really different look for the Frankenstein monster, and of course, it starred Peter Cushing as the Baron, and it starred actually Christopher Lee as the monster. It was kind of like their first pairing. This is like before Horror Dracula, and Horror Dracula would come next, and it would make them very, very popular, very famous. Christopher Lee would become the definitive Dracula for generations to come, and the fact that he was such a large, imposing figure in real life, and he was this presence, even off screen. In real life, Christopher Lee was a presence. So playing a role like Dracula was just seemed to be a perfect fit for him. And sometimes he loved it, and other times it drove him up the wall because this was something that he was known as. And for a long time, after, before there was Lord of the Rings or anything like that, for a long time, Christopher Lee was Dracula. And no matter what roles he took to get away from that, it still came into the part where he was this huge man. He was this incredible presence, and he really suited Dracula. So it's hard when you're so well known for a role. Ask Sean Connery how he felt after James Bond. Next one up is Taste the Blood of Dracula, and this is actually a favorite of mine. And I think my dad's favorite is Dracula's Risen, now, which is an amazing movie. So Taste the Blood is the one right after. And originally Dracula wasn't going to be in this movie. It was going to have, I think was it Christopher Neame in this one again? Who did this one? Although it says Christopher Lee in like the basically what was supposed to be. There's these like kind of like four like morally corrupt guys, like older guys, and they were like going to like brothels and doing all this kinds of stuff, and they were not nice guys. And there was a younger guy, and he was pretty much, he drinks the blood of Dracula, and he's taking over the role type thing. But here's the thing. They were not sure that this was going to work. So get Christopher Lee back fast. So you get about like halfway into the movie, and he drinks the blood, and Dracula, of course, comes back, and it's Christopher Lee, and it's glorious. And I really did dig this movie. So I can't remember who was the young actor that played it, but I know he was like he did a great job. And I don't see his name mentioned here, but whoever it is, he was awesome. It's killing me, by the way, guys. It's killing me. I don't remember that. My favorite of all time, I actually bought it in Morocco recently. Last year. Was it last year? Yeah. Ward Baker did it. And it's The Scars of Dracula. Scars was like one of those that I just really dug. A lot of people hate Scars of Dracula, and those people are wrong. No. That's wrong to say. Yes, no, I'm sorry. They're wrong. Scars of Dracula is an awesome movie. It's got Patrick Troughton as the, of course, Doctor Who #2, as his assistant, and they say things like things come out like Dracula's too cruel in this movie. Seriously, guys, Dracula's too cruel. When he's whipping the servant, that's too much. That's, one, he's Dracula. 2. He's Dracula. He's gonna give him a rose. What do you expect? It frustrates me whenever I hear that. I see that on there all the time. I just realized I got one other Hammer film, so bear with me. It came from my Anchor Bay collection. I showed it recently. It's a Hammer action movie, and it's Shatter with Stuart Whitman and Peter Cushing. Kind of like a kung fu type of film, action-y film. This one's actually filmed on location in Hong Kong. I'm not sure if this is one of the ones that did with the Shaw Brothers, because I know that the Hammer worked with the Shaw Brothers a bit, because they did the one that I really want that I don't have. It's called The Legend of Seven Golden Vampires, or Seven Brothers Meet Dracula. Really, that was the other title. Next up is my pride and joy when it comes to the Hammer stuff, and it is the Hammer collection. This is one that my better half surprised me with, and I had no idea I was getting till, well, basically, I think I found it when she thought it was going to be late for my birthday type of thing. So she let me know, and I told my good friend Parsnip, who had it too, and he actually showed it on his channel so that I could actually see what my present was going to be like in case I didn't get it, which was really cool. So it came in with 4 books, so with a lot of different movies, and just so you can see, it had like the cards: Dracula, Prince of Darkness, Blood from the Mummy's Tomb, which I really like, Leon, Quatermass in the Pit. And when anybody, if you say Quatermass, thank you, because one of my biggest pet peeves is that I'll be watching a Hammer video, and somewhere along the way there's going to be somebody on YouTube, and they're going to say Quartermass, and it annoys the hell out of me. It really, really does. It's Quatermass. It's Quatermass. There's like 3 movies. There's TV stuff first. There's adaptions. It's Quatermass. The Reptile. I love this one actually. 1 million years BC with the very, very gorgeous Raquel Welch. Very beautiful in this film. Martine Beswick is in this film as well, and she's very sexy in that one. And of course, Frankenstein Created Woman, because it's on here too. And I really do like that movie. So let's look at them now and see what actually is in each one. So the first, but they're done differently. They're kind of like cool, different way. Book 1, as you can see, there's Christopher Lee. And who's he playing? Well, let's open up and check it out. Well, first off, we've got Ursula Andress with She. And I didn't mind She. I thought it was a pretty good movie. The sequel, however. But Ursula Andress is a gorgeous, gorgeous woman. She's a beautiful woman, and you can see her as being she. It fits. I really did dig this film. Let's see if there's any features on this one. There's not really any features on this one here. But the next movie, however, does have features. That would be Bette Davis, because Bette Davis did one of the psychological horrors that did called The Nanny. And I'll give you a hint. She's not a nice nanny. She's really not. There's a feature-length commentary on this one. Who did the commentary? Let's see. Jimmy Sangster directed the commentary. Now, other one is the one I got, double one I got is Dracula Prince of Darkness, which as you see I got the Blu-ray as well. This one has the Many Faces of Christopher Lee 57-minute documentary, which is actually really cool. So especially now, I'm actually thinking of watching that because it's been a while since I've seen one of the Lee documentaries, and he passed away. So it might be interesting to look into that again. So if you haven't checked it, it's a really, really good set. It's an awesome one. Next up is one of my favorites. So that creeped me out as a kid. And the scene that you see right here is actually a scene from like a nightmare sequence. It's called Plague the Zombies. And it just, it's not the zombies like you see now, like the flesh-eating zombies. It's more kind of the voodoo ritual zombies, as the way originally were, like kind of like pre-Romero zombies. And it just is an incredible film. And the one that you saw on the cover is Christopher Lee, and an amazing, amazing performance. So if you have not seen this movie, you really should. Rasputin the Mad Monk. He was just made to play this role. Him and Tom Baker both do fantastic jobs as Rasputin. And you see the Ursula Andress on the back there. It's just incredible stuff. So we get into the second one, and we've got of course Raquel Welch. And this creature here. So we'll look into that one a little bit more too. So and first off, it is this creature here. And we'll look for features, but we have the Reptile, which is a really cool looking creature. I think that's very creepy looking, actually. Hey, Hind? That kind of creepy? Yeah. And again, it's an early one for them. There was the Witches, which is one I thought was fun, actually. And that was, what was her name again on that one? Joan Fontaine, I think. Yeah, Joan Fontaine. It was Joan Fontaine. Uh, the 1 Million Years BC with Raquel Welch. There's actually an interview with Ray Harryhausen on this one here because he did the special effects. And the Viking Queen, I had fun with it. My dad is not a big fan of it, but I thought the girls were cute, and overall, it's an adventure film. So of course, the classic and Frankenstein created woman. That scene there is, I don't think, in the film, but it's one of those publicity stills that they use a lot. Book 3 has this film, which we'll talk about in a minute. And, okay, that's Quatermass. Quatermass. Just saying. So the first one is Quatermass in the Pit. And let's look to see if there's features on any of these things here, because I want to be able to say it as I go along. Oh, there's features on one of them. And the next one is the sequel that I watch, even though it's not very good, Vengeance of She. Because I'll be honest with you, even the worst Hammer film is an extremely fun film for me to watch, and truly is. The Devil Rides Out is one that I really did like. I really did enjoy The Devil Rides Out. That was a fun film. And there's Prehistoric Women, and I did like that one too. I thought that was fun. And of course, my favorite of all time, I've got it in two different languages. I've got it in two different languages. I've got a Moroccan version. I have this one here, Scars of Dracula. Are there any features on this Scars of Dracula like on the other one? Well, there's a commentary, so that's not too bad. Ward Baker, the director, and Christopher Lee. Not as many features as on the one I got over there, but still, it's nice to have them in the different formats. And if Scars comes out, if I see Scars on Blu-ray with more features while I buy it, yeah, it's my favorite Dracula film. Here you get to see the Frankenstein monster, played by David Prowse, who of course was under the Darth Vader mask in the Star Wars movies. And here's Natasha Kinski in a very vulnerable position. We'll talk about that in a second. First, let's check out the features. I think this one has a lot of features, actually. Yeah, it does. So first we start off with Horror Frankenstein, which I thought was a very fun film. A lot of people didn't really get into that one as much, but this is the one that I'm sure this one had Ralph Bates in it. Yeah, Ralph Bates, Kate O'Mara, of course, who played the Ronnie in Doctor Who. She's passed on now, unfortunately. But I really like to watch this movie once in a while. It's more kind of like there's more of a biting satirical comedic take on the Frankenstein story, and it's really well done. This one has the commentary with Jimmy Sangster. There's an interview with Veronica Carlson. Veronica Carlson's a beautiful, beautiful woman. If you haven't seen any movies with her in it, really, you treat yourself next to see one. Next up, actually has interviews with Valerie Leone, and if you know Valerie Leone, then you know that Hammer movie is going to be Blood from the Mummy's Tomb. And again, another one that I really dig. I like all the Mummy movies. Although I'm not a big fan of all the Mummy movies that Universal did, I am a really big fan of all the Mummy movies that Hammer did. So, and next up is one of my favorite psychological thrillers that Hammer did, and that's when I want to watch. One of my better half to watch with me. Actually, I'd like her to see some of these here. Straight Until Morning, and I really did like that movie. It's a very different film. I think this one has a commentary or something on it as well. Yeah, it's got a commentary with Rita Tushingham and a trailer as well. Next up is a classic thriller, and that's Peter Cushing in Fear in the Night. And there's pretty sure that one has commentary as well. Let's check it out. Yeah, it's got a commentary with Jimmy Sangster. And of course the next one, Demons of the Mind, which is a very controversial film. It's just really well done. A lot of kind of things in it, and that has a commentary as well. Commentary interviews. Let's check it out. It has full-length audio commentary featuring Peter Sykes, Christopher Wicking, and Virginia Withrow. And the next one has probably one of the best feature, any of the things on this set. And this is To the Devil a Daughter, the very last Hammer film, that horror film that was made before they basically did some TV stuff, and they thought they were going to be making a bunch more like Vampiro and stuff like that. That just didn't happen. But To the Devil a Daughter was an interesting film. Now, Natasha Kinski did To the Devil a Daughter when she was 15. And yes, there are nude sequences of Natasha Kinski at the time, but there was no illegality to, I guess, where they shot it at. And it was not done to be exploitive or anything like that. It was just it was part of the script as it was. And we've all seen Natasha Kinski naked many, many times in Cat People in a much more exploitive way. So, and that was a fantastic film. But this one has a really great documentary called "To the Devil, the Death of Hammer." Really, really good. Talks about the making of the film, like Hammer's kind of like Hammer's downfall, and it's a fantastic one. I watched this one actually. Very first thing I did when I got this set, I think, was sit back and watch "To the Devil, the Death of Hammer." I really, really was so excited, so stoked to see that documentary. It was just such an incredible one. So as you can see, there's a lot of Hammer stuff that I do not have. So if you know Hammer, you know there's a ton of Frankenstein movies I don't have. I don't have the Mummy. I don't have the original. I don't have a lot of the other Dracula films. Obviously, I managed. This set here is the brunt of my Hammer collection. And the cool thing about having the set is if you get a chance to get it, I really recommend you pick it up because the set has a lot of features. Not just a lot of features, but it has a lot of different type of Hammer films. So it's not just it's not just a Hammer horror. It's not just a Hammer psychological thriller. It's not just Hammer action. It's kind of like a nice cross mix of like all the different ones, and it's like 21 films and just incredible stuff. So got Christopher Lee right there, that late Christopher Lee, rest in peace, and of course Valerie Leon. Just an amazing set. I really do recommend it. And there were some, I know I was speaking with my dad earlier tonight, and there's a couple of the Hammer films that he bought, and he bought them on Blu-ray over in they were Region 2, and some of the DVDs, I know Captain Clegg was one of them. The Blu-ray of Captain Clegg was atrocious. The DVD version of it actually was far superior. So that's my Hammer collection. A small cross-section of Hammer who have made so many great things. I would love to have the Hammer TV series. There were 2 of them that were made that I really want. And I keep wanting to pull the trigger on them, but I haven't yet, but I really should. There's a bunch of Hammer stuff coming out now. There's Mill Creek's playing on a Hammer set. If you've seen the Icons of Horror set, or if you have that one, then that's pretty much what it is with an extra movie added on from the Hammer Suspense set. If you haven't, then Mill Creek's playing it for very cheap, and it's a great way to get it. It's on DVD, but it's never been put on Blu-ray anyway, and this is a really great way to have this set. It's just an amazing set. It's 5 movies, and it's going to be some incredible stuff. This is Volume 1, so they're going to be putting out more. Warner Brothers, again, is putting out their 4-disc Blu-ray set, which has some incredible stuff on it as well, some more Hammer stuff. So there's going to be some great Hammer stuff coming in the nearby future. So I'm guessing a lot of the guys here that watch this over in the UK, Movie Cave Dave, Joe's Has Horrors, you guys, you get the really cool double play Hammer stuff, and I don't have any of those. But my dad, he bought a bunch of them. He's a huge Hammer fanatic. I want to get those. I want to see Captain Cronus on Blu-ray. That was a favorite of mine. I thought it was like an underrated one. I'd love to have Captain Cronus. It just was a cool film. There's so many that I want, like Taste of Blood, Dracula. I want I like to have that on Blu-ray. There's a Horror Dracula, the original one. I don't have it. I don't have that in any format at all. Actually, I'm really surprised. And that is such a fun film. I thought I had the snapper case at one point, but I guess something I don't have anymore. But it was it had a really cool case. The snapper case for Horror Dracula is really good. Like just called Dracula over in the UK. They didn't have the horror part of it. But great stuff. And again, if you haven't checked out any of the Hammer stuff, you're say if you're a younger viewer, really give it a chance. Hammer's got a really cool gothic aspect to it. So if you like gothic thrillers and horror and stuff like that, you're going to love Hammer. You're going to have a ball. There's going to be some beautiful women in it. You're going to see some really cool stuff. You're going to have some great scores, some fantastic directing, some great action. And, pick up something with some features on it so you can actually look and see exactly what was put into these films. And I know Anchor Bay put out a ton of these films. So thanks for watching for me right now. It is time for tea, and say hello to the great Pin Lord in the sky, his buddy the Phantom, and over there my better half Hind. So I'm going to talk to you guys later. Happy Sunday. I know tomorrow's Monday, but try and enjoy as much of Sunday as possible because Monday's coming way too soon. Have a great one, and rest in peace, Sir Christopher Lee. And watch some Hammer, guys. It's really great stuff.